The fluorescent lights of the coffee shop flickered. As Emma Collins stood frozen at the counter, her credit card declining for the third time. Behind her, a line of impatient mourning. Commuters checked their watches and shuffled their feet. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment as the barista's sympathetic smile only made things worse. She could feel the weight of judgment pressing down on her shoulders, each passing second stretching into an eternity of shame. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, fumbling through her purse with trembling hands, knowing there was no cash inside. "I could have sworn—" "I've got it," a calm voice cut through her panic. A man stepped forward from behind her, his weathered hands already extending a $20 bill toward the barista. He wore paint-stained jeans and a faded flannel shirt, his face lined with the kind of exhaustion that comes from working too hard for too long. "Get whatever she's having, and I'll take a black coffee." Emma turned to face him, ready to protest. But something in his gentle eyes stopped her. There was no pity there, no sense of superiority, just simple, uncomplicated kindness. "Thank you," she managed, her voice barely audible. "Really, I can pay you back. If you give me your number." He shook his head, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "No need, we all have rough days. Pay it forward when you can." Before Emma could respond, he took his coffee and was gone, disappearing into the morning rush like a ghost of goodwill. She stood there clutching her latte, watching him climb into a beat-up pickup truck through the window. A child's car seat was visible in the back, along with what looked like painting supplies and a soccer ball. The barista leaned across the counter. "That's Marcus Rodriguez. He's in here every morning before work. Single dad, works construction. Always tips well, even though I know he's counting every dollar." Emma nodded absently, still processing what had just happened. She was used to being the one with power, the one who could fix problems with a phone call or a signature. But this morning, stripped of her usual armor, she'd been just another person struggling to pay for coffee, and a stranger who probably had less than she'd ever had in her entire life had helped her without hesitation. She didn't know it then, but that moment would change everything. 3 months earlier, Emma's life had looked perfect from the outside. As the founder and CEO of Revive Health, a tech startup that had just secured $70 million in Series B funding, she'd been featured in Forbes, invited to speak at conferences, and courted by venture capitalists across Silicon Valley. Her company's app connected underserved communities with affordable healthcare resources, and it was scaling faster than anyone had predicted. But success had come with a price. The pressure to grow, to deliver returns to investors, to prove she deserved a seat at the table had consumed her. Somewhere along the way, she'd lost sight of why she started Revive in the first place. Board meetings about market penetration had replaced the community, health clinics she used to visit. Spreadsheets had replaced conversations with the people her app was supposed to serve. The morning her card declined, Emma had been on her way to meet with potential investors who wanted to shift Revive's focus toward more profitable markets, leaving behind the communities that needed them most. Her bank account wasn't actually empty. The decline had been a fraud alert, triggered by unusual activity. But the universe, it seemed, had a message to deliver. Over the following weeks, Emma couldn't stop thinking about Marcus Rodriguez. She'd looked him up, found his small painting business online, read reviews from grateful customers who praised his honesty and craftsmanship. She learned he'd been widowed 2 years ago, left to raise his 6-year-old daughter, alone while building a business that barely kept them afloat. Yet he'd given away money he probably needed without a second thought. It haunted her. What had she given lately besides press releases about her company's mission? When was the last time she'd actually helped someone without expecting anything? In return or considering the optics? The question gnawed at her until she made a decision. She called an emergency board meeting and announced that Revive would be launching a new initiative, providing completely free healthcare navigation services to low-income families, starting in her own city. Several board members were furious, warning it would hurt their valuation and scare off investors. But Emma held firm, and for the first time in months, she felt like herself again. The program needed a pilot location. Emma chose the neighborhood where Marcus lived and worked, an area that perfectly represented the communities Revive was meant to serve. She began spending her days there again, meeting with families, understanding their struggles, remembering why any of this mattered. One afternoon, 6 weeks after the coffee shop incident, Emma was leaving a community center when she noticed a familiar pickup truck. Marcus was unloading painting supplies, preparing to donate his time to refresh the center's tired walls. His daughter, a bright-eyed girl with pigtails, helped carry brushes while chattering about her soccer game. Emma's heart hammered as she approached. "Excuse me, Marcus?" He turned, recognition flickering across his face. "Coffee shop, right? How are you? Card working okay now?" She laughed, feeling absurdly nervous. "Yes, thank you. Actually, I never got to properly thank you. What you did that morning, it meant more than you know." He shrugged, setting down a paint can. "It was just coffee." "No," Emma said firmly. "It wasn't." Marcus glanced at his daughter, who'd run off to explore the playground outside. When he looked back at Emma, his expression was thoughtful. "My wife, before she passed, she used to say that we're all just walking each other home. Life's hard enough without making it harder for each other. I have a little girl watching everything I do, learning what kind of person to be from how I treat others. How could I not help?" Emma felt tears prick her eyes. "I want to do something for you. For your business or your daughter or—" "I don't need anything," Marcus interrupted gently. "But if you really want to thank me, do what I said. Pay it forward." "I'm trying," Emma said. "Actually, that's why I'm here. I run a healthcare company, and we're launching a new program in this neighborhood. Free services for families who need help navigating the medical system, finding affordable care, that kind of thing. Your moment of kindness reminded me why I started this company in the first place. You changed the entire direction of my business." Marcus stared at her, processing. "The coffee shop. That was you? The one who built that app everyone's talking about?" Emma nodded. "I'd lost my way. I was about to make decisions that would have helped my bank account but hurt the people. I set out to serve. Then you showed me what real generosity looks like, what it means to help someone without thinking about what you'll get back. You reminded me that being successful isn't about how much you have, it's about what you do with whatever you have." For a long moment, Marcus was quiet. When he finally spoke, his voice was thick with emotion. "My daughter needs to see her doctor next month. The insurance through my business is basically useless. The co-pays are so high. I've been putting it off, trying to save up. Are you saying your program might help with that?" "Absolutely," Emma said immediately. "That's exactly what we do." "And Marcus, your painting business. I noticed from your website that you're trying to expand. What if Revive partnered with you? We're renovating spaces for our new clinics. We need someone trustworthy, someone who understands the community." "I don't want charity," Marcus said carefully. "It's not charity. It's business. I need a contractor I can trust, and you need steady work. Plus, when my board sees how I'm investing in local businesses and hiring from the community we serve, it strengthens my case for keeping this program going." Emma smiled. "See? You'd actually be helping me." Marcus laughed, shaking his head in disbelief. "All this from a $4 coffee." $4 coffee and a lesson in humanity," Emma corrected. "The best investment I never made." Over the next year, the partnership between Emma and Marcus grew into something neither had anticipated. Marcus's painting business tripled in size, allowing him to hire workers from the neighborhood and provide stable jobs to families who desperately needed them. Emma became a regular presence in the community, working directly with the people Revive served, ensuring the company never lost sight of its mission again. And the pilot program's success convinced even the skeptical board members that doing good and doing well weren't mutually exclusive. But more than the business success, Emma had found something she didn't know she was missing. A reminder that every person carries struggles invisible to others, and that small acts of kindness ripple outward in ways we can never predict. Marcus had paid for a stranger's coffee because it was the right thing to do. Expecting nothing in return, that single gesture had redirected a multi-million-dollar company and touched thousands of lives. On the one-year anniversary of that morning at the coffee shop, Emma returned to the same location with Marcus and his daughter. This time, Emma bought the coffee, along with gift cards for the next 50 customers. As they watched people's surprised and grateful faces, Marcus's daughter tugged on Emma's sleeve. "My dad says you help people like he helped you," the little girl said. "Is that true?" Emma knelt down to her level, glancing at Marcus, whose eyes shone with quiet pride. "Your dad taught me that helping each other is what we're supposed to do. He's a pretty smart guy. The girl beamed. I know. As they left the coffee shop together, Emma reflected on how one moment of vulnerability had become her greatest teacher. She'd learned that true strength isn't about never needing help, it's about accepting it with grace and paying it forward with purpose. And sometimes, the most important business decisions aren't made in boardrooms with investors. They're made in coffee shops, in split-second choices to see another person's humanity and respond with our own. Marcus had given her more than coffee that morning. He'd given her a reminder that had been there all along, buried under ambition and pressure and the relentless pursuit of success. That at the end of the day, we're all just people, walking each other home, carrying each other through the hard moments, making life a little easier whenever we can. And that was worth more than any valuation, any investment, any measure of success the world could offer.